Hi everybody, it's Bonkai922. Okay. Um None of this. Ah. Side story, no dialogue, and alright, I know that against Gildar, he's a pretty badass character, but still, not really happened. It's a little side story, so I decided not to do a review of this chapter. I mean last week's was all ass and tits, so we got a lot. I decided not to do the fairy tale chapter review. Um, Instead, what I'm going to do is this. Next we go to it. I'm going to do, instead, Kenichi chapter review. There was two chapters that came out from Kenichi. There was chapter 490, and there's more. There was chapter 490.5. So, but really, the meat and potatoes of it is this chapter. Now, we've got a beginning scene, beginning page. We have, Miyu showing her ass. I mean, and it says battle 490 because it's sad. And we see everyone's, training in the Shanpaku Alliance, and it's all, interesting. They're all training together and so on and so forth. And that's when, and we see Miyu going, it's the season of love! Yeah. Come on, just get over yourself. And then, that's when we get an introduction of the character, who had helped Kenichi during the Tydad Temple arc. And her name is from Yomi, Kate Castor, Rachel Stanley. So Rachel showed up. Said, why did you come here? And she said, this told me. It was the little girl, Kusanada. She is also part of Yomi, decided to come as well. And then saying, we already knew about it, she's saying, and everything. And then I think it's Thor. He asks her, why'd you come here then? I was bored. Can I just come to play? And she's saying that she currently doesn't have a master, and so on and so forth. And so on and so forth. So, and we see Hermit and the gang's there. And that, it seems like she says, and she's like saying, I guess it can't be helped. I'm part of Nomi after all. I guess I'll leave. The audience doesn't want me here. The gallery doesn't want me here. I guess I'll leave. And that's when Kenichi steps up and he says an epic line. He's saying, when I was in Tydad, she helped me find where Miyu was, and her little brother Ethan also asked me to take care of his sisters, but more importantly, it's sad not to be considered a comrade. And she's like, a comrade, and she's like got this sprayed face on her face. And after that little speech from Kenichi, they get all three of them. All three of them. I say three because Hermit's there, so. Rachel, Kusanada, and Hermit, they all get a message from Yomi. And they all get driven away. Because they have to go with Yomi. And then you have Kenichi-san saying, one day, I'll make this end. And he's basically saying, how he's going to make this end and not have them being with Yomi. Now, the funny thing about Yomi, this group, is not everybody who's in Yomi, not every person it's not the entire group of Ragnarok in Yomi. That's what I find interesting. It's only like you got Hermit, he's in Yomi. You've got Odin, Kenichi's friend. Um, he's in Yomi. And then we find out someone else aside from the other two characters, Rachel and then Kusanada. Somebody that we knew about. And then she's like saying count, and then we have a scene where they're all there and everything of Yomi and the disciples, and she says, "Comrades." Well then, what is comrades? What do you think, Odin? And she says, "Don't speak, Caster. I feel quite key in the surroundings." And they're all there now, Yomi, and then it's that master of the kiss, I believe. And she's like going to test them, I think. And she's like, seeing as how you're going to be our future weapons, your masters are busy, so for the time being, you disciples will meet each other. I heard that many of you were defeated by the Katsujinkin and with bare hands. I really wonder what it makes team with such people again. And then they all get thrown throwing stars at, and everyone blocks it. It's not even like a challenge for them. Until somebody decides to bite them. Well, you're underestimating our opponents. And then we reveal Berserker. That's right. Remember him? Berserker? The guy who was fighting her and everything? Oh, man. Beastly guy. Huge guy. So, yeah. He's part of Yomi as well. And then we get like a last page where he says, "I really wonder what kinds of fights you've been through so far." And then it says Berserker finally shows up, a sudden change in the next issue. And that's where the chapter ends. Now, this was 490, so I guess you could say that Kenichi is reaching that milestone. 500. Now, I haven't been reviewing Kenichi that long, but I suppose I've been reviewing it since like the middle of the Tie Dad arc, so I've been reviewing it that much long. So, but I will say this, I'm liking this Yomi thing. I really am, because you pretty much got like 3 people in Yomi. Well, actually, 2 people in Yomi that Kenichi's fought before. And you got 3 people in Yomi who are from Ragnarok. And it's funny that you got those 3 people, and the majority of the other people are rather with the Shinbaku Alliance or are on their own. Now, this chapter was more or less, I think, it was kind of a setup for things to come. This was like setting us up later on for this reveal of what's going to happen. And, this reveal of, later on, because it seems now that we know, Berserker's there and everything, and it seems like everything is moving along to this big climax to an extent. But I guess you could say this was a setup chapter. I'm going to give this 3.5 out of 5. Was interesting to say the least. We'll have to see going down the road, probably the next. Got to see what the authors got for chapter. Because, Bleach went for a 500. We know how that happened. So, should be interesting. Give it 3.5 out of 5. I like seeing now that we got this broad stand of who is where. We now know, okay, these are the members of Yomi. So, interesting, to say the least. And yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. Um, I just want to go briefly about what was chapter. They had Kenichi chapter 490. And it came out with another chapter, 490.5. It's really an old make. It's nothing too crazy. What it basically is the other member of Ragnarok that was after Ragnarok was disbanded. The other member who was there was obviously Loki, and we just have him and his that girl was with him, with the army gear and shit. They basically go on a job on this boat that Mejima tells them to do and everything. And then basically it's with him. It's an old make of him and Hermit. And Hermit's Aster is actually there. So this is just an old make. It wasn't really anything special. Them fighting together, kind of going up against this guy and beating him. That was really nothing to that 490.5 chapter. But that's pretty much it. Now, I really am liking this now because we're getting a full scope of Yomi and what they have. You got Odin, former Odin of Ragnarok. You've got Hermit. You've got Berserker now, and you got these two new ones, and you not to mention Atlantis. So this is like, whoo, wow, okay. Pretty extensive. Pretty fucking extensive to an extent. So, interesting things going down. I like what I see. I like this is like I said, this is a good. Guess you can call this a setup chapter. Setup chapter for things to come in the next 2 or 3 or 4 chapters of Kenichi. But yeah, that's all I really got for you guys. Bimbo Gamiga will probably come today. Yeah. I'm thinking Bimbo Gamiga, and tomorrow I will do So I Can't Play H. That's what I'm doing. That's how I figured. That's how I figured it. Seeing as how that's the one for the other, that's for Evil King of Animal versus. But that's all I got for you guys. This has been Bonkai922, and Kenichi's doing well. I like where this is going. Like I said, I'm not doing that fairy tale chapter review. That ain't happening, man. Oh, don't want to get off too much topic, but about the verses for my live stream. I've narrowed down. I'm not going to do the Flamingo. That ain't happening because we do not know his abilities. We do not know his abilities, so it's really impossible for me to just put him in there. So, here's what I'm thinking. 2 people put 2 different One Piece characters. One person put Kosean. He put Yamamoto versus and another person put Kizaru versus Rakage. Now, I said no Naruto characters, but I was talking about the Sharingan users and all the other eye users in Naruto. I might do those 2. Haven't decided yet. Let this simmer. I'll let more comments come in for this on the live stream. If I get more interesting ones, then yeah. Probably by Sunday. Sunday or Monday, I'll call it off and I'll search and I'll see what I can do with it. Okay? From Bonkai922, Kenichi, it's doing pretty damn good. See you later.